Welcome to the Knuckleheads of Liberty.
Their mania is against Russia, and yet their strategy is exactly the same as Putin. Putin is literally jailing people for using the words war and invasion, and he is putting people in jail for that. And this is exactly what the ladies of the View want to do to anybody who doesn't go along with their view on things.
But talking about Putin and thing, there was a woman who it was live TV, and somebody in one of their studios came on live TV and put up a sign saying no war in Russia. I think it was Channel 1 in Russia. And they arrested her, and she's been fined right now. I don't know how much rubles, but they are finding her for interrupting the program with a little protest, So Putin is literally shutting people down. And he have shut down some of the independent TV stations and news outlets. He's literally shutting people down, and this is what the View is calling for here in the United States, where we're supposed to have a First Amendment. But this raises a question though. This thing have been going on for a while. Cancel culture has been a big part. It's almost becoming a part of our life in the United States. Is there anything that we could do about this? Seriously? Is there anything?
Jason?
Well, I think the main thing is we have to go back to classical liberal values. We have to look to and respect those values of people like Mills, who said, look, if you don't know the other side of the argument, then you don't even know your side of the argument. That's essentially what he said. I don't remember the exact quote, but that's essentially getting at it. And that's to say that, look, none of us are born with the truth. We're only going to get there by having discussions with other serious people who may have different ideas than us, and that's the way we progress to the truth.
Yeah, I'm really not worried too much, Leon. I think it's one of those things that are going to kill themselves out because they just go against human nature. They go against, everything that makes us human. And, to try to squash someone else's opinion. It's dictatorial in nature. It's despotic in nature, but that doesn't mean that it's got its own ability to keep bringing people into the fold. It's going to turn people off quicker than it's going to bring them in.
Indeed. That's a good point. That's a good point. I like that.
I would want to push back on that just a little bit, though, and that's that I think that the natural state for most people is to get defensive and want to essentially shut down the other side instead of really have a conversation with the other side. I think that's the natural state, is to want to defend what you think already. And I think we have to work hard to try to reach, what a guy like Mills was shooting for. And that's why he's so extraordinary, is because he brought those ideas up when a lot of people hadn't really crystallized those very well before. So, anyways, that's...
So, no, Jason, you're raising a very interesting point here. So let's take this out a little bit. You are saying that our natural state is to try to shut down our intellectual opponents?
Yeah, I think that is the natural state, and I think that's why we're seeing this get so crazy with all the social media. People are, they find people who think alike with them, and then they just want to shut out everybody else who doesn't think like them. And I think that really is much more the natural state. I think a guy to look at is Jonathan Haidt. He wrote a book called The Righteous Mind, and so it was about how to try to come to agreement with people, I guess, and stuff, or to be able to at least converse with them and stuff, and to convince people. And a lot of times what he was trying to say in that book is that people start off on the defensive, and you really have to have some trust before you can even get them starting to acknowledge your ideas. And right now there's it's really both sides have this disgust that's pointed at each other, and I think one side's earned it a little more than the other. I think but still, when we're in a situation where both sides just think of the others with just loathing and disgust, I think you want to shut them down. It's not that you want to say, hey, well, tell us about how you want to, turn Johnny into transgender or something at the age of 6. I really am not that interested in listening to that. But I mean, that is part of the issue, right? I mean, we have to at least allow them to talk, and then if it's a bad idea, then defeat it with evidence, not just shutting them down, I guess. So,
but if I were to
go ahead, Tim, go ahead.
If I were to push back on that, push back to the pushback, I would just say that I think there's, that you're right and I'm right. We're both right, because there's two types of people. There's those that are open to new ideas and always trying to learn. And then there's people that think they know everything already and are closed and are very closed-minded. And so I think there's, I don't know what the percentage is. I have no idea. I don't know if anybody does, but it seems to be you're either one type or the other type. You see what I'm saying? And so maybe the person that's open to new ideas is going to want to converse. And I tell you, I'm just as closed about certain things as the most closed-minded person. I mean, there's certain things you would take a heap a lot of convincing to convince me to change my mind on certain things. I'll tell you that. But then I'm also open to debating certain things too, and that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
Well, Tim, just a real quick rebuttal. I definitely think there's people like that out there, but the side that currently calls themselves liberal is the side that literally wants to shut everybody down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And liberal
they're in the closed-minded camp. That's for sure. So the rebuttal
but liberal is supposed to be open-minded.
But guys, I think I'm hearing something here that I find quite disturbing. Jason, are you saying that our natural state is some sort of totalitarian state? That's our natural state, because in a totalitarian state is where we want to shut our opponents down, whether intellectual or political. We're always trying to shut them down. Are you saying that is our natural state?
I think that we have to work to be open-minded. I think it takes a lot more work to be open-minded than to be closed-minded. And I think that's exactly why we celebrate people like Socrates and Mills and others, is because they were exceptions and not the rule.
Oh, okay. It's good point. Wow, good point.
Well, okay.
Okay. Tim, did you have anything to add before we move on?
I do not wish to rebut the rebuttal to the rebuttal of my rebuttal's original statement.